Joining me right now, George Papadeas, the operations manager of a company called the HOTH, which is hit 'em over the head. In a nutshell, tell people what your company is.
Thanks, Al. Thanks for having me today. The HOTH is, we're a white label SEO and content service provider for digital marketing services. We're based in downtown St. Petersburg. We have a great team of 35 and hit them over the head. That's our mantra. We want to make sure that our customers and also our team are just bludgeoned with awesomeness with our services in our interactions.
Great positive motivational guy too. But we're here to talk about millennials. Now, sometimes you don't know who to believe on these surveys. Sure. There's kind of this bad rap about millennials is that they're not like everybody else. They don't want to buy homes. They have greater expectations. One of the first things they talk about is the benefits and can I have my vacation? How soon do I get that?
Yeah.
Now, what are true about millennials and what's not true? Because your company, you say, your average age is 25.2 years old.
25.2, yes, sir.
Holy smokes.
And it's a wild time. It's the funnest time ever. We're having a great time at the HOTH right now. And you know, I think the most important part is that while it's good to label our generation, when it comes to a micro perspective, it's great to think of these team members as individuals. And the most important thing is to make sure that each individual is sort of given the right opportunity and given the right tools to succeed. It's very hard to stick a round peg in a square hole.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure we don't do that. Everyone that comes into the HOTH and everyone that works with us is unique and has a unique role, and we put them in a role that plays to their strengths.
Let's go through some of these things that in this stuff. They said, number one, they're not scared to change jobs. Listen, in my generation, well, maybe even a little bit older, not that old, people like to think I could be at that company like I've been here for 20, going on 21 years, and that's kind of the mode. But the younger people, it's kind of like, hey, if I change jobs, is that the way it is?
Sure. Well, I think it's all about motivation, and it's about, you know, what are the actual tasks that these individuals are doing? Are they being challenged? Are they getting to innovate? And the biggest thing that we found is, are they being able to contribute to the organization as a whole? And so, you know, in my past experience as a millennial myself, I wanted to make sure that the role that I was in, whether it was management or production, that I was contributing, that I was providing an opportunity to help grow the company. And at the HOTH, that's what we're doing each and every day. We're giving special projects, we're having special initiatives.
Now, because we're doing stuff that's so much more integrated into computers, computer working, it can be a little bit more taxing in that there's a lot of individual tasks that always have to be performed, and it's very structured. Can that actually work against you in terms of, man, I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years and I'm sitting at my desk doing this kind of thing and maybe I need to change?
Not in the slightest. And first we have to have that fun workspace. That's number one.
Okay.
We have to have a workspace that promotes innovation and contribution. But number two is making sure that these tasks that we're doing don't become monotonous. We have to make sure that these tasks are engaging, that there's a set level, a set metric, if you will, for success, and that there is a reward based with it as well.
Do you have a ping pong table at your workplace?
We used to have a ping pong table. We found the ping pong table made entirely too much noise. We have a lot of people on the phone.
Oh, so, on the phone,
yeah.
Okay. Well, my son-in-law owns a business downtown and they have a ping pong table. Okay, second one. They want a salary boost to go with it. Salary expectations, when people walk in the door, do you think they're realistic in terms of here's what your salary is going to be and if you do X, you're going to get X?
Well, our belief is not, you know, there's this construct where businesses have to have a set salary for a set position, where our belief is if you provide value to the company, your salary will be based off that value. And that is one of our benefits that we have. It's actually a bonus structure that we have, where if we hit a sales record within the company, everyone in the company gets a bonus, whether you are an entry-level individual or you're the owner of the company.
That's a big deal, isn't it?
Huge deal, and that's where that incentive comes from. That's where that recognition comes from, because, you know, businesses every day can give constructive feedback all the time, but if we're not following that up with constructive constructive feedback that is positive reinforcement, then you're not going to have that innovation.
Well, criticism can be constructive too.
Correct.
They want work with a purpose.
Sure, and I 100% believe that, but that purpose has to be measurable. It can't be a purpose that doesn't have those strict measurables with it. We have to be able to provide really clear, mutually understood expectations with mutually understood follow-up, and then mutually understood consequences if need be.
And it says, here's another one, they want perks and will change jobs to get them.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard a lot of people in a lot of businesses that will say this, if they just said thank you every once in a while, or if they gave me some feedback along the way that said you're doing because it seems like if you screw up, people always tell you this is a job. If I screw up, they're the first ones that are there to tell me that. But when I do good things, I hardly hear from them. How do you make sure that you, as a manager, don't slip into that pattern?
Well, I think recognition's huge, and you have to have recognition. And so something that we do at the HOTH is, yeah, we have that constructive criticism that I talked about earlier, but we also follow that up with really awesome recognition. We have a recognition software that we use, actually, third-party software that allows our team members to recognize themselves, not only themselves, but also each other. And it's a point system, and you can then use those points for extras, whether it's like an Amazon gift card or
oh, that's cool.
I love Panera, so Panera gift card. It's really special.
Here's another one. They want to talk to their managers often. Yeah, one review a year isn't enough.
Right. And I just think, I don't even think that's a manager thing. I think that's just having the culture of open and inclusivity, if you will. My door in my office is always open. Everyone has my cell phone number. We also have a software called Slack. Slack is a very important tool we use within our company for intra-company communication. Whether it's 7 a.m. or 7 p.m., you can reach anyone within the company at any time. I
have seen some companies that have stepped back and said, we're tired of doing the email thing, because what happens is people go, well, didn't you get my email? Well, in reality, I think I get, I'm just personally, I get about 100 to 120 a day.
Yeah.
And so how do you make sure that you're keeping up with that with always the email thing?
Sure. Well, I think it's important to not only have email, because with us, we have a policy actually called Inbox Zero. Everyone has to keep their emails to Inbox Zero. We treat emails like tasks at the HOTH.
Oh, okay.
And so if you treat them like tasks, it's much easier to get through them if you just think of them of just communication pieces. On the flip side of that, interpersonal communication, especially in our environment, is super important. Whether it's brief meetings, check-ins, walk-ins, or just seeing someone in the kitchen and saying hi.
Now, this doesn't come from a study, but being a father and a grandfather, why is it that a lot of millennials, when you call them, they don't answer the phone, but if you text them, they'll get a response almost instantly? What's with that?
So Ed, that's an interesting point. You know, if you look at maybe the last 20 years of communication, at least my generation, I have a very distinct memory of growing up on AOL Instant Messenger, of growing up on Facebook Messenger, the whole MySpace craze. Even in the university setting, when I went to college at USF, a lot of communication is going to be over text between professors, between you know, the students in the class with you. So I think just growing up, that's what we're used to. That's how we've learned how to communicate.
So you do that too, right?
Oh, a lot of the times, of course. You have to be able to speak to your audience.
But it does drive you nuts, and you're saying, where are we going to eat? Pick up the phone. Just answer the phone. Hang up the phone. Where are we going to eat? 2 seconds later. Blah blah blah. It's amazing. It's amazing. But millennials are misunderstood, but great people. All ages are great, and it's interesting to find in all these trends that I know that you deal with on a basis. You do a very good job of representing millennials.
Oh, I do appreciate that. Thank you
George,
so much.
Thank you. It's good talking to you.
Thanks, Al.